Imagine a great wooden hall in the dead of a northern English winter. A fire roars in the center, warriors feast, snow howls outside, and then a sparrow darts in through one door, flutters through the warmth and light for a few seconds, and vanishes out the other side into the storm. That tiny flight, said a pagan priest in the year 627, is your entire life. This image, recorded by the monk Bede, helps explain one of the biggest patterns in human history. Why entire peoples abandon their old gods. It happened across continents and centuries. The image comes from a real moment in history. Let's go back to the year 627. King Edwin rules Northumbria, one of the most powerful Anglo-Saxon kingdoms in England. A Christian missionary named Paulinus has arrived at his court, urging him to accept the new faith. Edwin doesn't decide alone. He convenes his council, his chief pagan priest Coifi, his thanes, the nobles and warriors in his retinue, and his advisors. This is not a private spiritual decision. It's a collective political one. The fate of an entire kingdom's religion hangs on this debate. And then the chief pagan priest speaks, not in defense of the old gods, but against them. He compares human life to a sparrow flying through a warm hole in winter. The bird comes from darkness, passes through a few moments of warmth and light, and flies back out into darkness. His words. What went before and what follows after, we do not know. Therefore, if this new teaching can reveal any more certain knowledge, it seems only right we should follow it. A pagan priest, admitting his own tradition, cannot answer the deepest question. Here's the principle the sparrow reveals. Life is brief, mysterious, bookended by unknowns. Every human feels this. A religion that claims to explain the darkness on either side of the hole, where we came from, where we're going, what it all means, has enormous gravitational pull. Right? The Sparrow Metaphor captures the existential gap that world religions fill, but this isn't just an Anglo-Saxon story. The sparrow reveals a pattern that repeats across history. A tribal or local religion is bound to a specific people, place, and set of protective deities. It works well in isolation. But once a people begins sustained contact with outsiders, through trade, warfare, empire, they encounter peoples with grander narratives. The local gods start to feel small. World religions offers three things. Local religions cannot. First, a universal God who rules all peoples, not just one tribe. Second, a historical narrative with a beginning, middle, and end. History has direction and purpose. Third, an explanation of individual existence within a cosmic framework. Every person matters in the story. The pattern repeats everywhere. Germanic peoples convert to Christianity. Central Asian peoples convert to Islam. Pacific Island societies adopt Christianity upon European contact. In each case, sustained contact with a wider world destabilizes local religion. The local gods protected a bounded community. Once that boundary breaks, people reach for a framework that explains the whole world, not just their corner of it. One important note, tribal religions are not primitive or intellectually inferior. They're sophisticated systems, adapted to their context. The issue is structural scope, not intelligence. Now, the most interesting counterexample, Judaism originates as a small group's religion, the covenant between God and the people of Israel. It never launches mass conversion campaigns, and yet it survives for millennia through exile, dispersion, and persecution. Judaism defies the pattern because it already possesses the key structural features of a world religion: strict monotheism, one God, not many; a powerful historical consciousness, the belief that God acts in history with direction and purpose. Judaism also carries a rich textual tradition and a covenantal identity that is portable. It doesn't depend on a specific place or political power. After the destruction of the temple, Judaism survived because its core structures traveled with its people. It's tribal in origin, but not tribal in structure. Judaism is the exception that proves the rule. It survives precisely because it shares key features with world religions. So the sparrow metaphor isn't just about medieval England, it's about a permanent human question. Wherever people feel the sparrow problem, the sense that life is brief, mysterious, and in need of a larger frame, world religions, ideologies, and grand narratives will have appeal. The pagan priest in that hall 16 centuries ago named something that hasn't changed. We live for a moment in the warmth and light. The darkness on either side demands an explanation. The sparrow is still flying. The question is always the same: what's on the other side of the door?